Hey guys, welcome back. We're doing work on the MGB today. If you're just checking in with us for the first time, this is a 1974 and a half MGB, so it does have the rubber bumper, but it is painted in aconite, which is a very rare color. So this one is my grandfather's passion project. I'm just helping him fix it up, and it's been interesting to say the least. We're going to be working on the brakes today, so it should be pretty straightforward. Got regular pads and rotors in the front, and then drums and shoes in the back. We're going to be swapping those out today. And I'm using classic gold, which I got from Moss Motors. New rotors, new pads, and then, like I said, all of the hardware that's necessary. This is what the old brake looks like, and this is what it looks like with a fresh rotor and pads. Interesting thing to note on these guys is that the hub in front of the rotor, which is unusual. Usually you'd expect to see the rotor a little more easily accessible and that hub behind it. Regardless, we'll take this grease cap off, remove the quarter pin, and then remove the castle nut. Then this whole hub should be able to pop out, and then we can get to the rotor here. These two here are actually going to separate it front from back, removing the bolts back here and then hanging it off of the control arm here. Rotor out, and we're going to take off the hub now. These are 15 millimeters. Now it should just be a matter of wiggling this guy out. And there's the last one. This is the only part that we're keeping. Take some of the old grease out and put some new grease, but just clean this stuff is mainly what I'm looking at. This is by and far my favorite product, and I just shoot it in there and spray it all out. So I've successfully degreased a lot of these guys, including inside the hub itself, and wiped that down. And I tried to keep the pieces in order as far as what goes on first and what goes on last. Grease gun here, so we're going to grease up these parts before reinstalling. And when reinstalling, they coat this in a layer of oil so that way it doesn't rust. So when we break it open, we'll have to hit it with some more brake clean. Gonna reattach the hub. These are coming up. Lock washer, nut. It's probably hard to see, but it's also hard to work on, so we're both suffering. That's all put back together. When we put it on, we'll put all of those pieces back in there and seal it back up. But for the time being, we got to replace the pads and some of these locking pins. Got the pads here as well as the two little pins and the brackets. So obviously the pads will replace these pads, and then these guys will come out, and then these are those clips. So just gotta essentially make sure everything's in that same sort of direction, and we should be good. Putting the hub back on. Got our two little shims that are gonna go in, bearing, followed by this tab washer, and it's got one indent here, so it's only gonna go one way. Castle nut. And just a quick note, that one is a 30 millimeter. Okie dokie. Fold that guy back on top of himself. And then the grease cap. Got this guy on. I've turned him this way so that way I can tighten the bolts on the back there. Oh, like a glove? Maybe too much like a glove. Oh, okay. This whole thing's feckered. I wonder which way is which. Damn, that is brutally tight. Remember, kids, even with an impact gun, it's important to torque your wheels. Yeah, that was 2 Ugga-Duggas. Still wasn't even at 100. I also have these axle straps that I can replace, so I'm gonna do that here. I put the jack under there and just jacked it up from the wheel hub to remove some of the tension off of that limiting strap. And we have the fresh one right here. Lubricate it and get it sliding. Yeah, there it goes. Ooh, that is ate up. There we have it. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. It's gonna have to be jacked up about another inch and a half. Well, I'll leave it like that for the time being. As far as the rear drums go, we have whole new drums for both the passenger and the driver's side. Brand new shoes, all new spring hardware, and then 2 new valves as well. Is the rear drum all reinserted? We had to do a test run on this one because we had a hell of a time. But we're gonna show you how to do it on the other side. It'll help from my friend. That bolt has to come out first. So spread both of the Phillips heads down. I was able to get that one out by hand, so not too big of a deal. Let's see how bad it is on the bottom here. Well, I got it, so parking brake's now off. Theoretically, this guy should be able to move with me here. Okay. Whew, okay. That right there is my brake hard line, and it keeps going. So unfortunately, it doesn't appear to be anywhere that I can pinch off because there's no soft line. The 2 big things that we had issues with were the retaining clip for that valve, as well as the bleeder nipple on this one. Because the bleeder nipple doesn't fit through the hole in the front of the shoe, and the retaining pin is just a pain in the ass to get. We ended up busting a nipple.
Ha! I broke it.
Yeah. And spent way longer than I'd like to admit on the actual retaining clip. So you just take pliers and push in and twist, and then it'll come out. From there, disconnect the parking brake, little pins on the ground there, and then pull these apart, and the whole thing should be able to just slide right off. Got this one for reference. We got the new one, and we got the new springs. This spring does not come in the new ones for whatever reason, so we'll reuse that one. So we went ahead and put the springs on. So this is the one we had to reuse, and then this is the parking brake lever that's gonna kind of slide in there and then around. Other than that, we'll just kind of slide it on. Yeah. What do we say? Okay, this goes in first, and then it goes. Oh, these things are
not right.
Oh. Huh. It's leaking brake fluid.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why it's so crusty. All right, Jack, for future, you need to flip this guy around. You also need to replace this leak and flip this, and then you'll be hunky-dory.
And do a brake bleed. What we did, because this was leaking, was we took the sort of plugs from the new one and threw it on the old one. So one, we don't have to replace that whole thing because we don't have that part, but that was the last bit that was leaking. And I have a feeling that's probably why there was no brake sort of power, and that was very spongy. So I'm gonna throw the shoes back on there, get it all leveled out, reattach that e-brake, and then leave the system. It has been a minute since we finished this video, but I didn't have a conclusion, so I want to go ahead and explain that one for you here. Obviously, the car is back on the ground, so we did finish the project. I just forgot to film without Brian here. I went ahead and bled the system and did all of that, and it was still feeling a little spongy afterwards, so I talked to some of the community members of the MGB club in my area, and a lot of them said that the brake time on these cars is 3 to 5 business days. You really just have to give it time because there is no brake booster. So the project was a success, but the brake power is still leaves something to be desired. Upon test driving it, I ran into another fun issue where the gas was leaking out of the charcoal canister there, and it ate about 2 gallons of gas in a 2-block distance. It's all leaking out from there. I don't know. It's a charcoal canister, but other than that, I don't know.
Did the bike back in yet or not yet?
Yeah, probably.
You got a match?
It's been sitting for a minute, but that is going to be the next project that we're going to be tackling on this. Something to do with the carbs feeding into that charcoal canister. So I have someone out in Sacramento that I'm hoping to deliver those carbs to, and then from there, hopefully we can get the car running consistently and produce a little more content from there. But we'll keep you in the loop, and we appreciate you guys watching as always. See you in the next one.